Rutger Hauer, born on January 23, 1944, became iconic as Roy Batty in Blade Runner, but behind the brilliance lay shadows of failed marriages, lost roles, and addiction. He died on July 19, 2019, aged 75, with a net worth of $16 million, leaving a legacy marked by brilliance and tragedy. Jason Statham, born on July 26, 1967, carved his name as an action hero in The Transporter, yet the man behind the stunts battled betrayals, financial pitfalls, and personal heartbreak. At 57, his net worth stands at $90 million, but scars remain hidden beneath his tough facade. Donnie Yen, born on July 27, 1963, rose as a martial arts legend in Ip Man, yet endured bitter industry rivalries, family estrangement, and crushing injuries. At 61, with $40 million net worth, his serene mask barely conceals the battles he fought beyond the screen. Vin Diesel, born on July 18, 1967, became a global icon with Fast and Furious, but fame brought loss. Paul Walker's death shattered him, and lawsuits and loneliness crept in. At 58, his $225 million net worth can't shield him from the ghosts of the past. Lee Horsley, born on May 15, 1955, famed for Matt Houston, saw his stardom fade too soon, replaced by obscurity and financial struggle. Now 70, with a modest $3 million net worth, he reflects on a Hollywood that once loved, then abandoned him. Judd Nelson, born on November 28, 1959, defined rebellion in The Breakfast Club, but a string of flops and addiction stole his spotlight. At 65, worth $4 million, he remains a shadow of the fiery icon he once was. Larry Wilcox, born on August 8, 1947, soared as John Baker in Chips, yet scandals, prison time for fraud, and heartbreak tainted his fame. Now 77, with a mere $1 million net worth, he walks quietly through the ruins of his past glory. John James, born on April 18, 1956, charmed millions in Dynasty, but career decline and personal loss left him adrift. At 69, with $2 million net worth, his smile hides a lifetime of faded lights and unspoken regrets. Brenda Vaccaro, born on November 18, 1939, dazzled in Midnight Cowboy, yet fought deep loneliness and the pain of lost love. At 85, worth $4 million, she remains a fragile survivor of fame's brutal toll. Meryl Streep, born on June 22, 1949, revered for Sophie's Choice, carries hidden wounds from critics, loss, and personal sacrifices for her craft. At 76, with $160 million net worth, even her unmatched talent came at a profound personal cost. Harrison Ford, born on July 13, 1942, immortal as Indiana Jones, lived through near-fatal crashes, divorce battles, and grief over tragic losses. At 83, worth $300 million, his rugged charm veils decades of hardship and scars. George Clooney, born on May 6, 1961, became Hollywood's golden boy with Ocean's 11, but the weight of fame, failed romances, and a near-fatal accident haunt him. At 64, with $500 million net worth, he smiles through lingering pain. Chris Pine, born on August 26, 1980, launched into stardom with Star Trek, yet faced crippling self-doubt, failed relationships, and career missteps. At 44, with $35 million net worth, his confident screen presence belies inner turmoil. Alec Baldwin, born on April 3, 1958, shone in 30 Rock, but scandals, addiction, and a tragic on-set shooting cast shadows over his legacy. At 67, worth $70 million, he stands both acclaimed and haunted. Johnny Depp, born on June 9, 1963, bewitched as Captain Jack Sparrow, Yet his life crumbled with lawsuits, addiction, and heartbreak. At 62, with $150 million net worth, he is a fallen star seeking redemption. Pierce Brosnan, born on May 16, 1953, suave in James Bond, endured the death of his wife and daughter to illness, leaving unhealed wounds. At 72, his $200 million fortune can't buy back lost love. John Stamos, born on August 19, 1963, beloved in Full House, battled infertility, divorce, and arrests for substance abuse. At 61, worth $25 million, his charm masks a life scarred by private anguish. Ethan Hawke, born on November 6, 1970, lauded for Training Day, fought depression, painful divorces, and career droughts. At 54, with $55 million net worth, he is an artist shaped as much by pain as success. Robert Wagner, born February 10, 1930, the suave icon of Heart to Heart, haunted by Natalie Wood's death and scandal. At 95, his $20 million fortune weighs heavy with memories he can't escape. Diane Keaton, born January 5, 1946, Annie Hall's brilliance masks decades of heartbreak and solitude. At 79, her $100 million fortune sits silent in her empty house. Jessica Lange, born April 20, 1949, the luminous actress endured loss and betrayal behind closed doors. At 76, her $40 million wealth feels like a gilded cage. Sally Struthers, born July 28, 1947, once America's sweetheart in All in the Family, faced ridicule and career decline. At 78, her $6 million fortune hides a lifetime of private pain. Shirley MacLaine, born April 24, 1934, mystical and magnetic, but scarred by broken bonds and isolation. At 91, her $50 million estate can't fill the spiritual void. Richard Dreyfuss, born October 29, 1947, the Jaws star fought addiction and anger. At 77, his $5 million wealth is a fragile anchor in turbulent waters. Barbara Eden, born August 23, 1931, I dream of Jeannie's magic couldn't save her from tragedy and loss. At 93, her $10 million fortune glimmers faintly in the twilight. Susan George, born July 26, 1950, the Straw Dogs star retreated after Hollywood's cruelty. At 75, her $5 million estate is a bittersweet legacy. Michael Beck, born February 4, 1949, leader of the Warriors, faded to obscurity after brief fame. At 76, his $3 million fortune whispers of what might have been. Max Gail, born April 5, 1943, Barney Miller's gentle soul endured loss and quiet despair. At 82, his $6 million wealth can't soothe old wounds. Tom Selleck, born January 29, 1945, Magnum's charm couldn't shield him from heartbreak and lawsuits. At 80, his $45 million fortune feels fragile against time's march. Pam Grier, born May 26, 1949, the queen of blaxploitation bore scars from illness and lost loves. At 76, her $4 million estate reflects resilience tinged with sorrow. Kelly McGillis, born July 9, 1957, Top Gun's beauty vanished from fame into seclusion and struggle. At 68, her $1.5 million fortune is a quiet comfort. Robert Redford, born August 18, 1936, the golden boy of Hollywood wrestled grief and guilt. At 88, his $200 million wealth feels hollow in his solitude. Gil Gerard, born January 23, 1943, Buck Rogers battled addiction and despair after the spotlight dimmed. At 82, his $1 million fortune barely shields him. Michael Douglas, born September 25, 1944, brilliant yet plagued by cancer and family tragedies. At 80, his $350 million wealth can't mend his fractured soul. Henry Winkler, born October 30, 1945, Fonzie's smile hides years of rejection and inner battles. At 79, his $40 million estate masks deep-seated loneliness. Glenn Close, born March 19, 1947, Fatal Attraction's brilliance belies heartbreak and mental health struggles. At 78, her $50 million wealth feels cold in the silence. Catherine Bach, born March 1, 1954, Daisy Duke's sparkle dimmed after loss and legal fights. At 71, her $10 million fortune offers little peace.